want to communicate across. And this was largely inspired by somebody that left me a direct message. And they said something along the lines of, you keep talking about trauma. Remember where you come from or where you came from. Sort of like in a way that's like, why are you still talking about the trauma piece? Let's hear you talk about spirits. Let's hear you talk about, deeper occult, or not deeper, but like more occult science and occult stuff. And that message inspired me to talk even more about trauma because of how important it is. And where I come from is definitely due to trauma, that all that stuff was related to trauma. So it does become very important, and it is very significant. And, for the person, if you're listening to this video right now, I mean no disrespect. I'm just saying what I'm saying. You inspired me to make this little story here. And I definitely want to talk about the trauma piece. And I will continue to talk about it, whether people believe it or not, or want to hear it or not. It's something that I need to talk about, something that's a part of my path. And I'm going to take these things and bring them together with the occult. But here's the message. So this is one of the biggest importances when it comes to why you need to heal your trauma. All right, there are reasons, there are actual, real, significant reasons as to why it's important to heal your trauma. And I'm going to go into that. So here it is. So this is something that a lot of people don't understand, but I'm going to take you through the process again just so that you make sure you understand. With trauma, basically it's usually what we've gone through at a younger age. We go through the trauma. It creates a sensation in our body that leads to an emotion. We store, or I could say we freeze that emotion in our body, in our nervous system specifically, and then we have to separate from our true self-expression to cope or to survive through the stress of that trauma, because we don't have the capacity at that time to process the emotional energy that it brings. So the problem is we carry that all the way up until the age of us being an adult, and we're still separated from our authentic self-expression. This is one of the reasons why it is so important to heal your trauma, because if you don't, this is what's going to happen. When you don't heal your trauma, you are unconsciously going to project the emotion that you are burying inside of your nervous system. You're going to project that into the external world around you. You're going to project it into your actual life experience. So let me break this down as practical as I can make it. If you have fear that's in your body from something you went through when you were 5 years old and it caused you to freeze fear in your nervous system, and you never processed that and you've never felt that, you are always on a consistent basis having to separate from your true self, and you are creating situations, circumstances, relationships, mindsets, beliefs, and manifestations that are going to regenerate that same exact repressed emotion of fear. So take a moment and really let that soak in. With any repressed negative emotion that you have in your body due to unhealed past trauma, if you are choosing not to heal this, or if you don't have the education to know how to heal this, you are unconsciously consistently creating cyclical situations, experiences, and relationships that are going to inherently, by destiny, reproduce those same repressed negative emotions. And it literally will become a cycle, and it will blow your fucking mind every single time you create something, you manifest something, you get into a relationship, and it ends in that same negative energy. Fear, sadness, and anger. Is that you? This is literally why it is so important, if you have the awareness, and especially if you have the opportunity to get the education, to start doing this inner processing work. This is the root level work that you have to do. This is the roots of everything. When we're talking about the nervous system and learning how to get back in tune with it and how to regulate it and then how to feel the emotions, this is as root cause as you can possibly get. You have to start there in order to create a solid foundation to be able to progress and do other levels of self-development and have progress in those practices. Without that root level work, you're doing yourself a disservice massively, and you could potentially be wasting tons of time and energy suffering for no reason. Let me give you another example. How many people do you know, maybe you included, are waking up every single day working hard to manifest something? You're working hard to live in your own home. You're working hard to retire. You're working hard to create a family. You're working hard to drive your dream car. You're working hard to live in the dream state or the dream country that you've always wanted to live in, right? Most of us wake up every single day and we are driven by factors that are physical. We are driven by these physical motivators of this is what I'm becoming. This is who I am and what I'm working towards. Because when I become this thing, then I will feel good. Then I will be happy. Then I will be satisfied. Here's the truth. If we're coming from this space and we do not have the awareness that it's important for us to process our emotions by feeling them, then we are overriding and we are using physical attachments as motivators, daily motivators, as to why we're doing what we're doing and why we're working so hard. And what we think is once we manifest this reality or this result that is external, that is physical based, then we're going to be happy. Here's the truth. If you are carrying sadness, fear, and anger in your body from past unhealed trauma, which most of us are, you're going to be that same sad, angry, and scared little kid internally when you manifest the reality that you thought you always wanted to feel good. So let me break this down. In other words, you could be on a yacht in Boca and everything around you could be so beautiful. There could literally be dolphins with mermaids riding on the dolphins, blowing little trumpets of pearl shells, and they're throwing you gold. And internally, you could feel sad, afraid, and angry, and ultimately lonely and depressed, even though everything around you seems perfect. This happens to so many people that are successful, and it really is hard to notice because a lot of these people are not honest about it. But this is happening so often, and you would be shocked about how many successful people there are physically that are truly still hurt, sad, and angry. And it's mainly because they created a mindset based on, once I achieve what I've never had or what I've always wanted, then I'm going to be happy. Whereas the real process is to start doing the emotional integration, feeling these emotions, processing them, and ultimately healing them, which turns these negative repressed energies into positive ones. We can transmute fear, anger, and sadness into happiness, satisfaction, freedom, and love as an internal state. And then we can, as we're starting to embody that internal state or internal emotions, naturally we attract the external reality that is in resonance with that. This is the law, as within, as without. As without, as within. And it becomes so much more effortless for us to manifest the realities that we actually want to live in. I am living proof of this. I live in a beautiful environment right now, and I didn't really have to do too much to get myself in this position other than the fact of doing the inner work, the inner integrations and processing. And that is a lot of work within itself, but I didn't have to physically pry my way to like find this environment, find this location and work my way through it and, cut corners and cheat people and steal to get here. I just did the inner work and I naturally brought this into my reality by attracting it because of my emotional inner states. All right, so this is the thing that we want to check in with. What is it that you're actually looking for? What is your why? Why are you waking up every single day, working so fucking hard? Why do you wake up and do you go to work? Why do you wake up and have the discipline that you have or have the routines that you have and, cut things off that you know aren't good for you? Why are you doing these things? Are you doing these things because you want your dream car? Are you doing it because you want your dream partner, your dream family, your dream home? Why are you doing these things? Are you doing it to prove to your parents that you're better than what they said you are? Do you think that if you achieve these things, that's what's going to make you happy? Or is your why actually you want to feel good? You wake up every single day and you work hard and you grind and you push and you discipline yourself because you want to feel good. At the end of it, it's literally an emotional state that we're all searching for. And when you actually start to be aware of this, it blows the paradigm out of the frame. We're all looking to feel good. We just oftentimes think these external factors are what's going to make us feel good. The only way you are going to truly feel good in the present moment is when you start knowing and embodying your true, authentic self-expression. When you become who you are, which was the little version of you before you were traumatized at a young age, that little innocent child that was free, that understood everything is connected, that was nurtured by the universe, but then went through something traumatic and then froze that fear, froze that sadness, froze that anger, and became rigid because of it. To survive, though, there's nothing wrong with it. You had to do that to survive. You had to be strong to make it through that. But now that you're an adult, it's time to open up that capacity. It's time to remove some of those stressors, and it's time to relax back into your true self by being more still and realizing, whoa, I've got some real negative emotions that are in my body right now. And until I start feeling them and working with them and through them, then I can start experiencing the happy emotions, the joy, the authenticity, the satisfaction, the freedom, the love. Okay, this is how we start actually achieving what we're all looking for, which is feeling good. So let's make sure we're going about this process in the right order, not in reverse. Because there are many people that are working and grinding and pushing so hard to create realities, to manifest realities that they hope is going to make them happy when they create it. And when they realize it doesn't, they realize they've wasted so much time and energy. And that's really tough. And a lot of these people have to psych themselves out and they have to say, all right, well, it's this next thing that's going to make me happy. If I get the plane, it's going to make me happy. If I get the $1 million yacht, it's going to make me happy. Right? And it's just you keep pushing, you keep reaching. The next relationship's going to make me happy. And it's because they're not going inwards. They don't have the right education. They don't have the right intention. And it usually comes down to those two things. Not the proper education and not the proper intention. And at the end of the day, a lot of these people end up working really hard, going through a lot of pain and suffering that they don't necessarily have to go through, to then breaking and realizing none of that was it. None of that was what I actually wanted. I'm still not happy. I surrender. There's got to be something else. And then they seek someone like myself. And then I can help guide them and I can lead them down the right path. So at the end of the day, the process is the process. Either way someone goes, I'm still in business. There's still a lot of people out there that need my help, and I'm here to do what I'm here to do. So take the education that I'm giving you now and use it wisely. Absorb it. It really means a lot, okay, for yourself, okay? And I'm going to wrap that up there. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this, drop in my DM. Let me know how this affected you. Let me know how this influenced you. I'd be very curious. Peace.